What's up YouTube? For tonight's video, we have a full Pokemon Yellow team. This one is for Patreon. If you want your theme team done, you can check it out in the description of the video under the Patreon link. Ryan, this one is for you. So the idea was this team was to use my very first Pokemon Yellow team, and what I did right is I used the movesets that I actually used in my very first run and the Pokemon I did in my very first run. It actually took me a while to remember all this, so hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll give you a backstory on each of the Pokemon that I used to and how they came to be their nickname or just what I did in the game, like all the silly things you did as a kid. Now, people, if you do want to battle me, that's in the description of the video too. I take battles on my chat at a random time. Right, so I had Suzanne, the Dewgong. This is actually an in-game trade. It was the first traded Pokemon I actually did in the entire game, so I actually included it on my team. So this is a battle on my chat. This one was against Katie. So we have a Pyukumuku lead. We do the double toxic at the start. Now I have on this Dewgong set, as I said, I use my exact competitive sets, which I thought were amazing moves, but some of them really weren't. So on this I had Ice Beam, I had Surf, I had Substitute, and Toxic. Those are the moves that I had on my Dewgong. It worked fairly well. It wasn't too bad of a moveset if you think about it. So Dewgong really can't do much to Pyukumuku, swapping out into Ducks. Now Farfetch was obviously my flying Pokemon. The set that I had was Fly, Cut, Slash, and Sword Dance. That was it. Now, obviously, I didn't have you didn't have abilities and items there, so I just made up for them, obviously, for now. So I had on this set, I had Adamant Nature, I had Power Herb, Fly, Cut, Slash, and obviously Sword Dance to boost my attack. So I needed to take this Pyukumuku out because it was a threat, people. Really, I didn't actually have a lot to actually even take it out, apart from one Pokemon, but it may end up really bad, so I didn't swap that in. Right, also my Dewgong, I had that as a max special attack, max health. Now, obviously the EVs were a hell of a lot different back then to now, but I tried my best to simulate this team as best as I possibly could in like Ultra Sun and Moon compared to Pokemon Yellow. Right, so there's the backstory of my Farfetch. Now, it was quite funny, right? I actually came up with Ducks as a nickname too, but Pokemon Red actually had the nickname Ducks, which I found was hilarious. So anyway, I'm going for the Power Herb Fly, people, OP, and I've got a +4 in attack. That's going to be enough to take it out. However, I'm going to get wrecked by the Innards out. I actually lived that one, but the Toxic is going to be enough to take out my Farfetch, and that was pretty good getting around Pyukumuku. Always a really annoying, bulky Pokemon. Obviously, it had like Recover and stuff, so I wanted to get rid of it. Right, so now I can swap in my Dewgong again. Now, I've got some funny stories on the other 4 Pokemon too. What was your Pokemon team when you first started playing Pokemon? Please leave it in the comment section below. Just let me know what your team was. I'd love to hear. Obviously, any Pokemon team suggestions are always welcome too. Right, so we have the Lombre coming out. I love that shiny. It's so cool. Using the Toxic again on that. Energy Ball does a lot of damage there. I actually noticed the other day, Energy Ball sounds a lot like Explosion at the start. I only just noticed that. I'm not sure why it took me that long to notice that. So I like Explosion. So a cool moving Pokemon. Right, so I'm not going to be able to live the next one. Obviously, I thought maybe I should swap it into another Pokemon, save my Dewgong for later on, and that is what I'm going to do. So now, swapping into Ghostly. Now, there's a funny story about this, right? I raised up Haunter to level 100, right? And I was like, I wonder when it was in the level 90s, I'm like, damn, so when is this going to evolve? Like, I was going, I was a little kid, and I was getting really impatient. I get it to level 100, right? And I'm like, it didn't evolve. How did these people get Gengar? And then I found out later on that you actually have to trade the Haunter. I think that was the first. That was like the birth of my salt there. But I didn't know anyone at that time with a link cable either, so it probably wouldn't have happened. But I wouldn't have raised it to level 100 if I knew that. So that's why I've got a Haunter on this team. Man, I just... Did anyone else do that? Did they level a Pokemon up to level 100 that actually need to be traded or like special trade conditions, obviously in Gen 1? So going for the Shattered Psych, the moveset I had on this, that was a Shattered Psych Dream Eater, actually. So I had Nightshade, Dream Eater, Hypnosis, and Psychic. That was the moveset I had on this. I was always obsessed with like Dream Eater. I thought it was like a really cool move, so I tended to use it on my Haunter. Right, so Lombre and Haunter, we're going to have the double feint there. They're both down. Now, swapping back in my Dewgong. So Dewgong wasn't, the most quickest Pokemon in the world, so I needed to do some damage before I fainted. So now we have the Mr. Mime, Mrs. Mime, I'm sorry about that, Mrs. Mime. It's going to go for the Shockwave, so it's obviously a Technician set. And this is pretty bad because I'm probably going to get wrecked. So I got my Nidoqueen. Now, the reason I nicknamed this level 252, one time I went into the Elite Four, right? And then there was this glitch. I don't know how I activated it or what I did, right? I'd sent the Nidoqueen out, right? And the health bar, the normal health bar, then it came out like across the other side. And then my Pokemon was like level 252. I have seen this before. Oh no, I've watched it a few times on some glitch videos, but I'm not sure how I actually went about doing it, but it just happened one day. I thought there was something wrong with my game. Like I went in the Safari Zone before, and then I went to the Elite Four. It just happened. It was really random, but Nidoqueen was on my team too. So Electrode, this was the first Pokemon that actually exploded on me, and I thought a ball with a smiley face on it grinning at me was an amazing design too at the time. So that was, and that was my electric type Pokemon too on my team. So on my Electrode, I'll give you my Nidoqueen set as well. I had Explosion, obviously. I thought I had Thunder. I had Sonic Boom. Oh, it was amazing. And I had Flash as well. The item I gave that was Bright Powder. I thought that would work really scummy with Flash. Obviously, the ability was Aftermath, Max Speed, Max Special Attack. Right, so we have the Thunder missing on the Archon. I almost swapped out into my Nidoqueen there, but I thought, no, I'm just going to sack my Electrode. And the Arcanine actually doesn't go for the extreme speed, and I get a paralyzed on Thunder. I was like, okay, why didn't go for extreme speed? And then I went for Bulldoze, so I nearly went into Nidoqueen, and I nearly got Shrek there. So that was a good thing I didn't do that, because I would have lost like 2 Pokemon instead of 1. So Electrode goes down, Arcanine took like a really big chunk of damage from Thunder, so I was really happy about that. So now we have Nidoqueen. The moves I had on this were, I had Earthquake, I had Surf, Ice Beam, and Thunderbolt. That was my Nidoqueen set. Some of the sets I had actually weren't too bad, but some of it was like downright awful. That Sonic Boom though. Anyway, so Nidoqueen taking out the Arcanine there. I like shiny Arcanines. It looks really cool gold. Now we have the I'm going to try and say this Maruda the Delmise. So on my set I've got Ice Beam. Now the item I had on Nidoqueen as well was Assault Vest. I had Max Attack, Max Special Attack. So it's about a 3-hit KO. I don't get a scummy freeze hacks. Now we're going to have a Shadow Ball coming from the Delmise. Since I had Assault Vest, I actually tanked that one, and I get a Special Defense drop, which is quite funny too. So obviously my item was obvious after leaving that Shadow Ball. So hitting Delmise in the balls again, and it just lives on there. Don't get a freeze hacks, and it's going to be able to take me out with the Surf. I like Special Delmise. It's cool. Such a cool design. I just like comparing the designs from Gen 1 to like Gen 7. It's really interesting. So my Nidoqueen is down. I've got one more Pokemon left, and of course I've got the Dragonite. Dragonite was my very favorite Pokemon. Now I didn't have this as a nickname back then. I just had it as Dragonite, and my Nidoqueen just was called Nidoqueen. So they were the 2 like nicknames I adopted on them afterwards. So on my Dragonite set, it was an amazing set, people. I just packed the most strongest moves possible on it. Like, this is when I was a kid, I looked through all like the base power of the moves. I was like, damn son, I've got to just put all these moves on it. So on this I had Hyper Beam, I had Blizzard, Fire Blast, and Thunder. Now we have the Floatzel coming in for the Ice Punch. Normal Gem is going to activate, and thank goodness the Hyper Beam doesn't miss, because I would have been really salty, and that's just going to blast Floatzel out of the battle. Now I was actually a little bit worried because I thought it might actually have Focus Sash, but it didn't. Thanks for the game, Katie. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let's get on to the next battle. Some fun sets there. Right, so there you go. There's the backstory of my original Pokemon Yellow 10-year-old cringe days. But some of the moves it's quite funny, because I've kind of come full circle with my sets. Like I started off with like the worst sets ever, and I'm using them again. Right, so we have a Smeagol lead. This was against Nacho on my chat. I'm going to get a Flash off. The Bright Powder actually works turn 1. So they had obviously they got a Technician Smeagol, and Fake Out misses there. Fake Out getting a boost from Technician. Smeagol is going to swap out. Now we have the Lantern, which is a little bit of a problem. It's going to come in and Volt Absorb that. Now there wasn't a lot I could do. I could go for an Explosion, but Explosion is really weak on Electrode. Its attack isn't that great, and obviously I wasn't running any attack EVs on this either, and I didn't have like normal gems, so it wasn't really going to work. So I'm just dodging all these moves from the Lantern at the moment. I just went for Disrespect Sonic Boom there. It does so much damage. Anyway, so the Lantern's going to go for the Charge Beam. It's going to boost its special attack, and that's going to be really bad, because this Lantern seems like more of a sweeping set. So Electrode really can't do much except go for Explosion. I just went for Explosion. I didn't want to swap any monster into that, so I thought that's fine. Electrode can do some damage, and then I can swap in something else to just revenge kill it maybe later on. So it does very underwhelming damage, but that's fine. Electrode, I guess, did its part in this battle. I didn't see it really being too much more helpful. So now, swapping in my Nidoqueen, I can go for Earthquake against the Lantern, and that's going to, that's obviously going to take it out. Lantern, however, is going to swap out and in comes Staraptor. Now, I did obviously see Staraptor in the team. I thought about going for Thunderbolt, but I thought, nah, that could be a mistake, so I didn't go for that. Obviously, the Earthquake's not going to affect Staraptor because it's a flying type. Now, Staraptor is going to go for the U-turn, just getting a little bit of damage on my Nidoqueen. Obviously, this had Sheer Force's ability too. Poison Point would have actually come in handy there. Now, we have the Granbull coming, so they obviously think that I'm running a physical set. That's why they're swapping in the Granbull to get the Intimidate off. The good thing about this is I've got the Thunderbolt, and that's going to be its max special attack and its sheer force boosted. So it's doing some really nice damage. That's a 3-hit KO. So going for another Thunderbolt, I was very, very wary about doing that because I thought Lantern might try and sneak in. And now the Granbull is obviously going to try and get an attack off, which is the Thunder Fang, the Super Fang. So now I thought this would be a perfect opportunity for the Lantern to come in, get a Volt Absorb, and get some health back. And I thought, no, I'm going to go for Earthquake this time. But they've got the berry to weaken it, which is the Shuka Berry, and obviously I've got some Intimidates up already, so I'm going to do absolute monkeys to the Lantern. Lantern's going to live that one easy. Now, I've got the Earthquake again. I thought after the Shuka Berry, I reckon I've got enough actually damage output to take this thing out. I know I've got some Intimidates up, but that should be enough. The Assault Vest actually enables me to live that Scald, and I'm going to go on the Earthquake with my Nidoqueen again, taking out the Lantern. So that worked out really, really well there. Definitely that that Earthquake prediction incoming on the Lantern, trying to get the Volt Absorb, definitely helped there. Even though it wasn't a large amount of damage, that was like the difference between a KO and a not a KO. So Staraptor is going to come in. This can obviously outspeed me and just take me out with any time move. It's going to go for the U-turn again, and that's going to take out my Nidoqueen. But Nidoqueen did amazing. I was very happy with that. Nidoqueen was actually the second Pokemon I got to level 100. My first obviously was Dragonite. I was just like obsessed with leveling these to 100. Then Nidoqueen. I think after that was Dewgong because of the trade. I got a lot of experience. And then poor old Haunter. Oh man, I'm still salty about that. So going for the Nightshade, just taking out the Granbull there with some nice fixed damage. I decided to run this one, I wanted to run better moves on this, but I thought it'd be cool to run the exact moves that I had on them instead of just using the same Pokemon. Right, so now we have the Alolan Marowak coming out here. I thought, well, let's swap into Farfetch because it could go for a Ghost-type move. That'll enable me to get a free swap in with my Farfetch because it's not going to affect me. However, it's going to go for a Focus Energy, boosting its critical hit ratio and doing a little dance there on the spot. Now, I thought I could go for a Sword Dance, but I thought that would be a bad idea because I don't think Farfetch, you can't really set up much. You almost need a swap or something like that. So I went for the Power Herb Fly. It's about a 3-hit KO. And now the Marowak is going to use freaking Will-O-Wisp against me. My attack is going to be crap. There's not much I can do here. I can either go for like another Fly to get some damage. All the other moves like Slash and Cut were just useless. I couldn't do anything, so I had to go for Fly. There was no options. That was the fun thing about actually using this team, right? There was very limited moves. The move sets were like really, really bad too, which made it fun to use. So I go for another Fly, getting like a little bit of damage on the Marowak. Now Marowak is going to go for the Fire Blast. It's a special set, and there's no way on this Earth I'm going to be able to live that crit. So Farfetch is down, but he did his job in this battle. So now swapping back in the Ghostly, the Haunter, so I can go for Psychic, or I can go for the Psychium Z Psychic or the Psychium Z Dream Eater. Dream Eater was just, like, I just had that for Dream Eater, and like, if I put the Pokemon to sleep and they swapped out, and I wanted to go for the Z move still on Dream Eater, I could do that too. So I had no, obviously you had no like stab back in the like Gen 1, like Shadow Ball and stuff, that, none of that sort of stuff existed. That actually only come in Gen 2. So going for playing some ping pong with the Marowak there, and that's enough to take it out, which is good. That was pretty dangerous with that Focus Energy Fire Blast stuff. So we got 3 more Pokemon each on. Now we have the Staraptor coming in. So I thought, I wonder if this has got a Ghost type move. This would be bad if it does. So I decided actually to stay into this one, and I'm glad I did because it actually used Pursuit. That would have been more than enough to direct my Haunter doing 3/4 damage to me. I just went for the Psychic against this thing. That's like the best thing, damage output that I could possibly do. So Staraptor takes that pretty well. It's looking like it's max health, so I'm thinking maybe this has Final Gambit because it took that one a little bit too good. Now it's going to take me out with the Pursuit. So that's my Haunter down. I've still got 2 Pokemon left. The Smeagol's not too much of a worry to me. It's probably more of a gimmick set, so I wasn't too worried about this. It was more the Staraptor. So Staraptor is going to swap out, not wanting to stay in against my Dewgong, and Smeagol is going to swap in. So I just went for Ice Beam. That was my best bet to take out the Staraptor. Now, Smeargle actually lived this one, but it does live it. So now it can go for the Fake Out, getting some extra damage on me. And I was worrying, like, what other moves this had on this set, because obviously Smeargle can learn dozens and dozens of moves. Now, also, I actually have a Pokemon Yellow walkthrough. If you've never seen that before, you should definitely check it out. I did that, I probably think about a year or two ago. I'm not sure. But it was a really good one. You should definitely check it out. There's probably a couple of parts I still need to finish off on that. But if you did like Pokemon Yellow and you haven't seen the walkthrough, it's there. I've done a red one too. I've done quite a lot of walkthroughs. Silver. Anyway, so we have the Smeargle. We're going to get a Z move coming from this. Now, there's going to be normal EMZ. I'm not sure if this is coming off Fake Out or it's going to come off like another, sorry, not Fake Out, like another like normal type move that's boosted by Technician. Maybe something like 60 base power. I'm not sure. So anyway, the Smeargle's going to go for the Breakneck Blitz on my Dewgong. Dewgong is fairly bulky with max health, so I knew this wasn't going to obviously take me out without a crit. It doesn't really do too much. Smeargle's attack is basically rubbish, but you know, there's a good effort there, and going for the Surf on the Smeargle, taking it out. So we got the Staraptor left, and we still got one unknown Pokemon, not the actual Pokemon unknown. So getting a little leftovers recovery on my Dewgong. So the last Pokemon they got, obviously, is this other than the Staraptor, is the Leafon too. So that's what I was thinking at the moment. That's why I saved Dewgong for all this time. I wanted that Ice Beam to be around. So now, it's obviously, as I thought, it was going to go for Final Game. It took that Psychic way too well earlier, so I knew that I had max health. I just live on 10 health. Man, that was lucky. Like, that damage that I did with Haunter actually enabled me to live that. So Ice Beam obviously isn't going to do anything. There's no target there. And the last Pokemon we have is the Leafon. So I know Leafon's going to obviously outspeed me and take me out with like whatever grass move or whatever move. I'm only on a little bit of health, so it doesn't matter. I actually chose to went for the Toxic Air. It goes for the Sunny Day. I'm like, oh man, I could have gone for the Ice Beam there. That would have wrecked it. Just in case this was some crazy ass set that had weakness policy, I just went for Toxic. It didn't really matter. Dewgong was basically out of this game. I've got the Toxic up on the the Leafon. Anyway, so the last Pokemon I've got is a Dragonite too. Now I was planning to either go for a Fire Blast or a Hyper Beam. You know, Fire Blast would be really powered up by the sun too, so that'd be nice. But you know me, guys. I love to try and finish a battle off with a Hyper Beam. So now it's going to be a special Leafon. Good to see that. Not the greatest move ball in the world either. Even for its physical type move ball, it just doesn't have a good one. So that's nice to see that. I'm going to go down to the Solar Beam there, and that is Suzanne down. Now, as I said, the last Pokemon is my Dragonite. That Leafon has taken prior damage to with the Toxic as well. So going for the Hyper Beam on the Leafon, I locked myself in for that. It's going to be outspeed me. Obviously, it doesn't have anything. Like I think the best it could do to me was like a hidden power or something like that. Its special move pool is it's pretty rubbish, and that's about it, guys. Hope you enjoyed these. Both these battles are really fun to go back to the past and get some nostalgia. I actually had to sit there for a while to remember what like all my moves were. Anyway, so High Beam lands and Leafon's going to get absolutely destroyed, and that is game. Enjoy those bloopers, people. I'll catch you tomorrow for Casual Thursday vid. Peace.